Hi, everybody. You might be on mute. You might want to take yourself off.
Hello.
Oh, I got the girl. Yay.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty embarrassed right now, actually.
Oh, and I just called you out. I'm sorry.
My gosh, that's exactly what you should be looking like on a fun day. That's awesome, Michelle.
Yeah, well, you should see the whole outfit. So luckily, this is all you all have to see. So.
I want to.
All right. Well, you guys are one of actually two groups that chose student engagement. This was our most popular topic that was chosen out of the 3 topics. So we put us in 2 groups for that. So I thought I'd start with just the question of what have you done successfully to engage your students right now during, teaching through a pandemic? So let's just share ideas. What has worked for you guys? Anything you want to share?
I'm curious how many people are in person and how many people are remote. We're remote right now.
Or how many are doing both?
Or you're both.
We're in person.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else we got? Keith, Lynn, were you guys in person?
Yeah, we're in person. Yeah, we have a few remote, about 10% remote. The rest are in person.
Okay.
But lots of in person. We just voted we're going back in person. And so that's what I'm thinking about. When you think about student engagement, it's been a lot harder being remote to try to find, but there's a lot of cool stuff out there. We've done a lot of Jamboard with Google Suites and trying to get kids engaged. We've used Seesaw as a platform for K1 and Google Classroom for 212, just trying to keep everything organized for the students and engage them from our classrooms and their homes.
Mm-hmm. These are some great tools. What else? What is everybody else using that's been helpful?
I have been working every week with every e-learner that we have. The engagement at the building, because I'm not allowed to be there personally. I have someone helping me at that level, but it gives me the opportunity to have a 20-minute session with every student or family each week. A little time consuming, but again, because they don't have kids face to face, it's working out well. And we can talk about the dogs. We can talk about baseball. We can talk about mask wearing. Yeah.
Okay. That's a great idea, taking that individual time.
We've just been doing a lot. Of course, we're in person. So a lot of our teachers, we are a very low income district. So we're trying to just get our kids, they all have Chromebooks this year. So we went 1-to-1, just getting the idea of practicing with like Google Classroom, doing Google Meets. Because at the beginning of the year, we were hybrid a couple days a week with we divided the groups by their last name, so we would have half and half. But outside of that, we're just going over different new procedures, trying to put the kids in cohorts so that they aren't interacting with a lot of different kids. But we still switch classes. They eat lunch in their classroom. But it's going much better than I anticipated.
Okay.
We're just glad to be back.
What else have you found working for student engagement? Go ahead.
I'm at a K-6 school, and we have a combination. No one is in person yet. We're waiting to be off the monitoring list. I don't know where you all are, but I'm here in California. I suspect you are too. I'm not sure. We have a blended model. Everyone right now is on distance learning. And when we're off that list and we're allowed to meet in person again, some of our students will come back for blended in person 2 days a week, and then the other half of the class will come. And the things that we're using, our students have Chromebooks. We've even issued hotspots for those families that need them. They use Google Meets and things like Nearpod, Flipgrid. All the other online programs are still being used. And one thing that started today was incentive to keep up the PBIS process. We're still using that. And, we can actually give it for attendance now because the fear of anyone coming to school ill is not happening. So those type of things, we're giving out incentives to still keep with the PBIS model.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Michigan, so I'm not in California.
Yeah, who else? What states do we have represented?
Ohio.
Wisconsin,
Minnesota.
Okay.
Kansas.
Got a good Midwest chunk and then a California side. All right, any other things that you would say has been really good for student engagement that you want to share?
We are blessed to be in person right now, but those that need to be distance learning are allowed to. And so just as an example, right now I have a student distance learning, and we just Zoom her or Google Meet her into the classroom. And we've done this with a few kids just as they need to wait and see how things are or whatever. And that's been great because the kids are still engaged with their peers and their classmates. Our district, or we have kids coming from a really wide range of districts around us. And so some friends might live 30, 40 minutes apart and they only get to see each other at school. And this way she's not, completely isolated from everything. And we really like that. She's engaged in her learning. She doesn't just have to read and do things on her own. She can hear my instruction. She can collaborate with her peers over projects. We just did a science experiment today and she was definitely a part of it. And so things like that are just really awesome to be able to do.
That's cool. Okay. What about, are there any professional development or curricular supports that you feel like your teachers need to really get at that student engagement piece? Are there things that you feel like they need?
I think for some, and this is Jean from Wisconsin, I think for some we need to help them understand truly how to develop that relationship. They have techniques that they utilize in person, or maybe some are very good with the technology part, but building a relationship and creating a bond that goes deeper than what some of them think is building relationship, I think still needs to be worked on for some, and others are doing it so well that you don't even know it's a different day. So
I think that highlights that connection between relationship and engagement. That whole saying, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and that they will, kind of be a lot more invested when they know that.
We also do something that's called TLC, the Thriving Learning Communities. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that, but it's about 24 character strengths, and where it says that everyone has these 24 character strengths, and then some are stronger than others. So we do activities with those every morning. We have an academic coaching period that we were doing small group instruction, but we haven't figured out how to do that with COVID yet. We're still working on that because we don't want to intermix the kids. So right now we're just doing that, and it's a great way to engage the kids on a different level besides just academically. It really does help with their social and emotional piece. Especially since we've been out of school basically since March. So we are also doing that along with PBIS, like we've done our PBIS as well.
Okay. Any other supports you feel like your teachers need to really get that student engagement up?
We've built our professional development for our teachers in Google Classroom. And so when we had our PD days, we took topics that we thought would be beneficial, things they needed to know. We have a chief academic officer who would make an introductory video to talk about some of the things they needed to know. And then they got to go, there were must-dos and then like a PD catalog where they could go, but we built it in Google Classroom intentionally so that the teachers became more comfortable with being able to use Google Classroom and seeing how they could put activities in for their students. And so teachers who, of course, were not tech savvy prior to the pandemic and struggled to send email now, had the experience of going through the Google Classroom prior to, having to do it with their students. And then we just tried to look at all the different topics that we have that we knew that they would need, because a lot of them didn't know what they needed. So we tried to do those as the must-dos so that they could figure out just how to run a classroom online versus being in person.
That's kind of like what our district did at the beginning of the year. And normally we just have like 2 PD days, but this year we had a whole week and they had like Google assignments each day purposely so that they would have to go in and they would watch like a little video, and then it would give them like, they'd have to do like an application piece to show that they learned, but they could do stuff that they'd be able to use in their classroom. So very similar to what your district did. And we got lots of positive feedback on it because the teachers really they loved the opportunity. They could meet with other teachers, but it was also on their own time. They had the whole week to do certain assignments. And so it did work out really well.
Yeah, we got lots of positive feedback too, with a lot of, this is exactly what I needed right now. You know,
Yes.
where usually you're like, I know how to do that, or, you know.
Yes.
Let's move on to, so the key one, what additional challenges or solutions, if you hear a challenge, you have a solution. What challenges do you find with student engagement that you're hoping maybe someone might have a solution for? What are your challenges?
So how do you, like, when you, the people that have students that are virtual, how do, like, we have, our students are going through a VLA, which is a virtual learning academy, but I have parents that'll call and say, hey, we can't log in, or we can't. So how are you engaging those students that maybe aren't logging in, or they're not following what they're supposed to be doing?
Well, that's where I come in. I make the personal phone call, and I get online. So I have 4 students right now that I see twice a week, at least 20 minutes, to just make sure they're on. And they're the same 4 kids that I struggled with when they came in person, not engaging. So I think that's the one piece we have to understand, that they're not being engaged may not be a technology person. It may be something that's deeper that we're dealing with. So along with my counselor, we are picking up those students who need more, but we're doing a lot of personal phone calls, a lot of phone calls.
We are too, and I do have one teacher who, because the teachers make the phone call first, and then it goes through a system that we have of who's the next person. And I have one teacher who has, I think, 3 contacts that she makes, and the last one is an email that says, "Since you are not responding to me, I'm coming to your house." And she usually gets a response. But she will drive over there to their house to do that. In some of the cases we also have like on-site officers and stuff, and MTSS workers that they could go in pairs, you know, if they wanted to go, but that has gotten a lot of positive responses for her.
Bet. So if your students choose to do virtual, are they allowed to come back to in-person whenever they want, or is it by like 9 weeks or semester?
Our students are allowed to, well, our parents, they can change, but it has to be at a semester or trimester break.
Okay.
So, and it's not guaranteed, because the way that it's set up, and we have distance learners, we have blended. Right now, we're all on distance. And so at my site, I may have several teachers who are off-site because they have students not just from our school, but they could be anywhere in the district. So that the distance learning for the entire year, if that was the option the parents chose, did not guarantee that they would actually have one of our teachers at our school. So if they want to change, they can submit a request to change prior to the break of the semester, if it's high school, or you know, we're trimester. So that's the time that they can do it.
Yeah, and this is Laura from Wisconsin. We were, you know, we said that you had to wait till the trimester to change back, but we have not followed through with that at all, because if students or parents are reaching out to us saying that they need face-to-face because they're completely failing in the virtual or the distance learning option, we're pulling them right into face-to-face. So we have both the face-to-face and the distance learning. So even though we said we were going to hold them accountable for their choice, we haven't done that. So we're kind of driving the teachers crazy a little bit. But yeah, but it's so important for the kids, because some of them that chose, many of our kids that chose the distance learning, it is not working for them. We are doing the live streaming and providing our own distance learning product. And like the last person said, these are the same students that were having really a hard time engaging last year when we were face-to-face. And so we are allowing those, if the families are ready to come back to face-to-face, we're doing it immediately. And we're also going the other way. We're allowing kids to go to distance if now they're in face-to-face, because if parents are saying they're worried about the virus, or you had a positive case in your school, I feel like we can't deny them that opportunity to choose a safer model. So
Looks like we have 1 second left. We're going to be joined back to the group. Sorry, guys. I thought I'd see a little bit more warning, but I think we're heading back there now. Oh wait, no, we'll close in 50 seconds. Never mind. We got to finish a minute. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I'm done. I'm done.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw the time go.
We're the same way in Kansas, where we let all those kids who are remote come back immediately. We have tried to restrict a little bit those kids leaving, to go remote. Want to be sure they think through that. But most of them, we've had a number come back because the parents do reach out and say, "Oh, it's been a struggle at home. Please let them come back," and we do.
That's kind of where we are, but it seems to frustrate the teachers because they're like, well, we have this, we tell them that they can't, and now we're bending the rules and letting them come back. Especially like if it's a student with a disability, I definitely haven't said no because we're still responsible for those students. But yeah, like we have lots that are wanting to come back, and the parents are reaching out. So I just was curious. So thank you all.